is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Stacey Lynn. President Trump says the U.S. completed a very successful attack on 3 nuclear sites in Iran, bringing the American military directly into Israel's war.
Our objective was the destruction of Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity and a stop to the nuclear threat posed by the world's #1 state sponsor of terror. Tonight, I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success.
The president addressed the nation from the White House late last night with his vice president, Secretary of State, and Defense Secretary by his side.
Iran, the bully of the Middle East, must now make peace. If they do not, future attacks will be far greater and a lot easier.
And he said they're fully prepared to carry out additional strikes if necessary. Sources tell CBS News the U.S. did reach out to Iran diplomatically yesterday to make clear the strikes were against nuclear targets and that regime change efforts are not planned. Earlier this week, multiple officials said that Mr. Trump opposed an Israeli plan to kill Iran's supreme leader. Now, following the U.S. attacks, the BBC's Mark Lowen reports that Iran fired back, launching a fresh wave of missiles at Israel.
A huge Iranian barrage came in right across Israel. Reports of direct hits in Haifa, in the north of Israel. There were also some impacts and interceptions here around Tel Aviv.
The Israeli Health Ministry says more than 80 people were injured from the retaliatory strikes. So what happens now? That's still unclear, says CBS's Olivia Rinaldi.
There is still an open question. Can Iran pick up the pieces and restart its program? Is it possibly still in a position to sprint towards a nuclear weapon at this point, as some intelligence analysts believed might happen if the U.S. entered this conflict and did not deliver significant damage to its nuclear site?
Now, reaction to the U.S. attack has been swift. Our Linda Kenyon tells us what Congress members on both sides are saying.
Republican Senator Lindsey Graham posted, "Good. This was the right call." House Speaker Mike Johnson posted, "The president did what he needed to do." The top Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee, Representative Jim Himes, called the president's action a clear violation of the Constitution, which grants the power to declare war explicitly to Congress, while Vermont Democratic Senator Bernie Sanders called it grossly unconstitutional.
Again, President Trump ordered U.S. warplanes to drop massive bombs on 3 nuclear sites in Iran last night, decisively putting the U.S. into the conflict. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Another checkup? Why are so many people getting new puppies?
Dr. Kim's veterinary office is littered with cuteness.
We are booked solid for weeks, but who can say no to a puppy, right? Oh, good boy. Oh,
She needs to find extra vet techs to get those pups some extra love.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, candidates can find it easier, so you can hire easier. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, listen to this. All I needed was a new starter. Got a great deal on eBay. Did it myself.
Yeah, that's cool. But how about the soft purr of an upgraded exhaust when it fits just right?
For me, it's the little things, like these new windshield wipers from eBay I installed.
From small fixes to big upgrades, eBay has all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
There's a new travel trend for families.
The Wall Street Journal reports wealthy parents are paying tens of thousands of dollars for resort vacations that include family therapists. A company called Bluestone Families offers luxury retreats, including one on New Zealand's Matakana coast with an on-site counseling. Cost, not including airfare, $80,000. One psychologist says the getaways are perfect for the children of wealthy parents who are under intense pressure to achieve and often isolated from mom and dad. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
A model of D.C.'s National Airport will be on display beginning tomorrow, made entirely out of Legos. The 150,000-piece replica took Lego enthusiast Richard Paul's 9 months to build. It features an accurate design with domes, arrival and departure levels, and even a baggage claim. It's not the first airport he's built out of the bricks. He did a model of Dulles that's been on display there since early last year. Stacey Lynn, CBS News.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Add some star-spangled style to your summer with Ashley's Stars and Stripes sale going on now. Shop Hot Buys for every room in your home, now just $6.99. Plus, you can save up to $1,000 store-wide. And don't miss upgrading your patio. Save up to 20% on select outdoor furniture. Or feel the freedom to buy now and pay over time with 0% interest until 2030 on in-store purchases made with your Ashley Advantage Synchrony credit card. Only at Ashley. Subject to credit approval. Minimum monthly payments required. See store for details.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred roofing replacement contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
Today brings humidity, sunshine, and near-record heat with a high of 95, then warm, humid, and generally clear tonight, low 74. For tomorrow, expect plenty of sunshine, more humidity, and a high of 96, breaking the record of 95, with sunshine, heat, and humidity for Tuesday as well, high 95. For AccuWeather, I'm meteorologist LaTroy Thornton, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
Rob Fracks on the voice of Pittsburgh, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
President Donald Trump.
Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated.
President Donald Trump, also CBS News, saying peace or more destruction.
There will be either peace or there will be tragedy for Iran far greater than we have witnessed over the last 8 days.
There was no choice. This had to happen. And the president did this not just for the United States and our future, but more importantly for our ally, the state of Israel. Their Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu. This from CBS News.
I thank you. The people of Israel thank you. The forces of civilization thank you.
And he had more to say about the president and the U.S. of A. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, CBS News.
Your bold decision to target Iran's nuclear facilities with the awesome and righteous might of the United States will change history.
There was no way that this could not happen. We in this country could not sit by and simply let Iran dictate the way they have. This has gone on for decades. No longer should we be bullied by these third world countries. We should be basically staying out of their way, and they should do nothing to get in our way. As much as this is a fearful story, and obviously many news outlets going around the clock 24/7 and will continue with the latest news, CBS News, special reports, KDKA News, as this story unfolds, I understand the fear factor, but I also understand how long we as a nation have been putting up with ragtag governments like this, basically taking their finger and squarely planting it on our chest and continuing to poke at us. The president is letting the rest of the world know that America is back in the business of making money for our economy, but also not letting people push back on America. We are not seeking a fight, but if you bring a fight to us, we will be ready to engage. What are you supposed to do? Do you simply sit back and let this nation develop a nuclear weapon? And then there will no longer be any negotiations. Basically, they will have you backed into a corner every time that you try to negotiate. I think Iran has met their match, and I think Israel and the United States will make a great partnership. And they will also show the rest of the world that there is strength in numbers. I applaud the president for what he did, what our nation is doing for Israel, and more importantly, what the big picture is, stomping out tyranny and this government who has been threatening the United States long enough. I believe it's a good day for the U.S. of A. The other thing that I noticed that really kind of got my attention was the fact that Democrat John Fetterman, Republican Mr. McCormick have both said thank you to the president and others. But there are those that are questioning it. Cristalizio Summerlee. I understand that is a democracy. That is what it's all about. But in my humble opinion, when you look at what is at stake here, this has nothing to do with party affiliation. This has really nothing to do with government. This has to do with keeping people safe on this planet and keeping these weapons of destruction out of the hands of people who do nothing but wake up every day trying to figure out how they can do the rest of the world bodily harm. If this weapon would be developed and they would unleash it on the state of Israel, that is something that I fear, that is something I dread, and that is a nightmare, and it should be for every citizen in the United States and the human race around the world, because they would think nothing of it to do just that. And in the back of my mind, I think the reason they have been trying to develop it for so long is because that's exactly what their mission is, and we cannot stand by and let that happen. Now, you may remember yesterday on my show, we had an incredible first 2 hours of the broadcast. Lots of folks wanting to talk about this, and that is important. We need to engage in communication about this. But I said, once again, the art of the deal, making them think one thing and then doing something else. If you could rewind the show, did I or did I not say he is saying he needs 2 weeks, he wants to hear from the American people, and how I couldn't believe that he would do that because he's never done that. He's always led with his heart what he believes his responsibility of president is and what's best for the American people. And I also think he was distracting Iran by saying 2 weeks, you've got 2 weeks. And then all of a sudden, lightning struck 3 times, 3 nuclear sites, with swift, punishing, bombing, strategic action from one of the greatest military mights anywhere or at any time on the face of the earth. And the thing you have to understand, you have 2 incredibly powerful, strong leaders in Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and President Donald Trump. I think this is going to be a chapter in history that's going to be remembered for generations to come. Why? Because I think finally the message is going to be heard loud and clear that this type of behavior by these third world countries has to stop. If you want to do business, you want to communicate rationally and respectfully, so be it. But making these idle threats, sooner or later, push comes to shove, and we as a nation, as will the state of Israel, push back. All right, lots of calls I'm going to be taking on this today. I want to hear from you. We only have an hour of open talk, but I do want to stress anything that happens throughout the day with this story, we will bring it to you. We will have special reports. We'll have news top and bottom of the hour, and, of course, along with our colleagues at CBS Radio News. And first thing tomorrow morning, the Big K Morning Show, you're going to definitely want to be tuned in as this story starts to take hold heading into the week. I will be on the air this week as well in the evening. We'll have Colin. We'll have Marty. We'll make sure that you get everything you need to know about this. This is historic stuff. I mean, this, as I said yesterday, this could go quickly in the wrong direction. But this statement made by the United States could actually bring this thing to an end sooner than later. And I also think as we move forward with stories like this, I think the thought process will be completely different. And I think whoever the regime is after this is all said and done, I think Iran will not be making idle threats anytime soon. And if you completely cut the head of the snake off, they will no longer have that ace in the deck with the threat of a nuclear weapon. And remember where you heard this, too. This could be the turning point in the war in Ukraine. Vladimir Putin is hearing this story as well in the Kremlin today, and he is probably thinking, we've got 2 leaders that you do not want to mess with. I think China, this will bring them to the bargaining table as well. This could actually stop violence across the planet that could have lingered for years. Because I think people are realizing as they wake up or are spending their Sunday or getting ready to head into Monday already, wherever they may be in whatever time zone, whatever continent, they now realize that this president and the Prime Minister of Israel, they have a pretty big punch. And working together, strength in numbers, they're a whole lot more, I think, connected and solid now more than ever. And the world is looking at these 2 leaders a little bit differently today and a little bit with some apprehension, wondering what could happen next. You got to keep them guessing. You cannot let people be the bully taking your lunch money every single day. It has to stop, and I believe this is the first step in the right direction. Your call is coming up next. It's your Pratt Pack on a Sunday morning at KDKA.
Get connected. That's the Inside Connection this Saturday morning at 9 with your local Medicare experts from MediConnect. If you're turning 65, hear all the inside information available to seniors on the Inside Connection, presented by MediConnect. Medicare made simple.
News Radio, KDKA, Sports.
Sports brought to you by Coons Market with 8 locations to serve you better. A Pittsburgh tradition. Bucks lost to Texas 3-2 last night. 2 teams again today. PNC Park, 135 first pitch, 93-7 the Fan. LSU's Cade Anderson pitched like an ace in Game 1 of the College World Series Finals yesterday. Anderson tossed a complete game shutout in a 1-0 victory. The Tigers stepped into the driver's seat in search of the 2025 National Championship and are just 1 win away from their 8th title in their school's history. TJ McConnell and company, NBA Game 7. It's all on the line tonight for the Larry O'Brien Trophy as Indiana takes on OKC. Travelers Championship, Tommy Fleetwood is 1 round away from winning his first tour event on the PGA Tour. He's at 16 under, good for a 3-shot lead at the Travelers Championship. And Riverhounds winners against Tampa Bay 2-0 last night. And today on the pole at Pocono, it is Denny Hamlin as NASCAR goes for the checkered flag. More sports, 937thefan.com.
The KDKA radio text line is driven by Kenny Ross Auto Group. Find your best deal and Pittsburgh's best warranty at kennyross.com.
The success you've had in life matters. The late nights, the extra shifts, the moments you've stood up and said, I've got this. At University of Maryland Global Campus, we value your achievements because we're a school for real life. With UMGC, you can earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning and relevant life and work experience, or transfer up to 12 credits toward a master's. We offer scholarships, affordable tuition, and online and hybrid classes, all with the support you need from your first day to graduation day and beyond. As an accredited state university, we've been transforming lives for over 75 years. Choose from more than 135 undergraduate and graduate degrees and certificates, and get ready to succeed again. Get an affordable online skills-based education to move your career forward. UMGC offers no-cost digital materials in place of textbooks in most courses, low-cost tuition, and over $21 million in scholarship opportunities each aid year. Find out if you qualify at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Did you know that now you can listen to all your favorite stations, including this one, shows, and even podcasts, all on the Odyssey app? Download it now.
Everything you need, every time you listen. 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
All right, lots of folks wanting to talk, so I am going to give all of you an opportunity. Let's begin with Anthony in Oakland. Anthony, good morning and welcome to KDKA.
Well, you've fallen for the okie doke again. Look, Israel is that little brother who goes out and causes all kind of friction all over the world and expects his big brother, the United States, to bail him out. I mean, there is absolutely no benefit from the United States bombing nuclear facilities to unleash radiation on innocent people. It's absurd. There was a diplomatic way to do it, but that's not what Netanyahu has wanted. He's been doing this for 30 years, trying to blow up facilities of Iran. So the United States has no one to blame but themselves, because when the United States backed the Shah, they were beating the Iranians. But of course, you know, you manufacture things, you kill the Shah, and now you got chaos over there. Same thing you did in Libya, where you had a stable Libya who voluntarily got rid of their nuclear facilities. What happened? You back a bunch of rebels, a bunch of militant rebels, and they overthrow that government. Now they're unstable. The United States does nothing but go around in that part of the world and cause chaos because of their little brother, Israel, who, by the way, since you guys probably never studied when you were in school of civics and history, that, the South Africans have nuclear weapons because the Israelis gave them the plans for it during apartheid, when they designated Nelson Mandela a terrorist. So you can sing your praises all you want for Israel. There are troublemakers, and now the Saudis in Israel got what they wanted, because that's what this was. This was the Saudis because there's a Sunni Shia war going on between them that's been going on since time immemorial. So the United States have done their dirty work. And like you did Ukraine, Mr. President, are they going to have to pay you back, Israel? You giving them, you sending them over a bill? No. Thank you.
All right, Anthony, appreciate the call. Let's go to Ken, Lower Borough. Ken, good morning. You're on the air with your Pratt Pack. Welcome.
Gotta love Anthony. One-sided all the way. I mean, didn't Obama ship tons and tons of money over there? Didn't Biden and Kerry, John Kerry, if I'm not mistaken, didn't he enhance those programs? I mean, it's like the Democrats just send the money. I mean, what the heck? What are we financing over there? But, yeah, I'm not really – I was surprised when I woke up this morning and found out what happened, kind of. But about a week ago, we knew they shipped another carrier force over there. It was only a matter of time. Then he used the liberal press to sit there and say, you have 2 weeks. Well, I guess the liberal press ran with it and figured, oh, well, we got 2 weeks to wait, but you didn't have the 2 weeks. I mean, I don't understand this. Like I said, I'm looking at as long as we don't have any illegals here that are terror-based, that try to do harm within our country, we have to watch for that. That could be a problem down the road. But other than that, yeah, just another page in the chapter that he's writing. Hopefully we come out of this unscathed. So far, nobody's been hurt on our side. So we'll see how it goes.
Well, I'm going to give everybody a chance to be opinionated with this because it's a very hard-nosed, opinionated story. But in my opinion, I don't think you had much of a choice. 866-391-1020. Here's Stan in McCandless. Good morning, Stan.
Good morning, Rob. How you doing today?
I am good.
Great night. Great accomplishment achieved here. Look, this has been going on for 40 years. We've been listening to this. I told you I'm sick and tired of hearing about Iran's nukes and Iran this. Israel had to do this to initiate this to protect their own livelihood, their own nation. Do people forget what happened just recently when there was an attack on them and there were, people were taken out of their own country? Women were raped, women and children were killed. What is it going to take for someone to wake up and realize that war is not fun, but it happens? And incidentally, Anthony's all wrong. They ain't nuking people right here. It's nuking facilities. If indeed what Donald Trump said last night lie, I listened to what he said.
I think Anthony, real quick, I think what Anthony meant because of nuclear weapons being stored there could be some radiation that could leak from those weapons after the bombing. That's what I think he was talking about.
All right. Well, but still, they have a nuke, and they were threatening with it, and Israel had to do something to protect itself. And I'll tell you what. I'll finish up quickly. Benjamin Netanyahu is the best leader Israel has had in many, many years. He's the right guy for the right time. And the statesman, Donald Trump, is the right guy for the right time. We've had different leaders in our country that have never done nothing to try to resolve this problem in Iran. But Iran is a troublesome problem to the world, and the free world wakes up today a lot better off. So the statesman makes a statement about something, and the man follows it through. So the world will learn sooner or later that if Donald Trump says something, his words are like E.F. Hutton. When he speaks, people listen. Have a good day, buddy.
All right, Stan, thanks. Keep them coming, folks. Your thoughts on the bombings of those 3 nuclear sites by the United States teaming up with Israel, trying to make Iran realize there's no place they can run or hide. They've got to simply stop making or trying to develop a nuclear weapon. 866-391-1020. We'll have the latest from CBS Radio News in just about 5 minutes. Okay, Ted, Mount Washington, you're on KDKA. Good morning. Let's try one more time. Ted, I guess I got to push the button. Go ahead.
What's going on, Rob?
How you doing, man?
Oh, fantastic. Hey, it's a great day to be American.
I think
Look,
so. I think so.
It's peace through strength. It's been, 44 years we've been putting up with this crap, death to America. Okay? 44 years.
Since the Ayatollah, enough.
Enough is enough. And I'll never forget in the 80s, Beirut, Lebanon, when 200 Marines was blown to pieces. Okay? And 6 Americans were shot in the head by Hamas. We had to do this, Rob. And I applaud the president, regardless of party. This needed to be done. It should have been done by prior administrations. And I'll be honest with Israel. Look, say what you want. I have my arguments with the government, but when it comes to countries, look, there's no way we're going to walk away from Israel. I told you that yesterday. No way. They're fighting for their lives. And they need to finish the job, find this supreme leader, and kill him. Okay? It is a regime change. Get rid of this regime, install the Shah's son, and give that country a chance. And there could be stability across the region. We have no choice. It's the right call.
I mean, it had to stop. I mean, because sooner or later, whether it's this year, next, the year after that, they're going to develop one, and they're going to launch it at Israel. They have nothing but bad intentions. They are so jealous of Israel. That's all they think about. Instead of just trying to live their own life with the resources that they have. I mean, think about it. They don't put any money back to the people of Iran, better buildings, infrastructure. All they do is take money to try to build nuclear weapons. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Well, let me tell you something. I remember when Nixon was saying about Iran, before the mullahs took over in 1973, during the Yom Kippur War, all those Arabs cut off the oil except Iran. Okay? Except Iran. We need to install a democratic government and get those mullahs out of there. Okay? The people don't even like that regime. And you talk about an 82-year-old man, so-called supreme leader, who dictates everything. They can't even find him, which is a great thing. And like I said before, this gives Israel a chance to get in there, get rid of that regime. If we got to help them, let's help them, and restore order. That is the only way. Iran has been a troublemaker in the Middle East for 44 years. You cannot have peace until they destroy it, and do it now, or prior generations going to have to do the same thing. So I applaud the president. I applaud Israel, and let's finish the job.
Don't you think that there are other people waking up or already been up for a while, depending on what time zone or continent they're in, they're saying, there's 2 different people running the show now, and now they've partnered up, so now we've got a 1-2 punch. And people have to be looking a little bit different at the United States today.
Let me tell you something. It's time for America to carry that big stick. I'm tired of people saying that the U.S. is in decline. Okay? We send a message. We're not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere. You send a message to China and to Russia. That is over. The next person who says death to America is going to get the same thing. I agree with you. It's time to send a message to the world. We're not going anywhere, and we're going to handle our enemies.
And it's also
embrace our allies.
And it's also time for Americans to work on the same page and take this as a catalyst, understanding it's us against them. And if we stay divided in this country, we will fall in this country.
Well, I'll tell you what. It's like George W. Bush said, I'd rather fight them over there than fight them over here.
And believe me, that could happen. Good stuff. Thanks, Ted. Anybody else, jump in here. We got another half hour of open talk. CBS Radio News with the latest on the strikes of 3 nuclear sites by the United States joining forces with Israel is happening overnight. And again, throughout the day, any special reports, things that you need to know, we'll make sure that you stay plugged in. KDKA News and CBS Radio News. So the latest from CBS Radio News, then we'll take more of your calls. Was this a good thing or not? I just feel a sense of united patriotism right now in the country that I haven't felt in a long time, and I feel a lot of strength between this partnership that we've had for a long time that is even more solid now between the United States and the state of Israel. Back with more in a moment. It's your Pratt Pack, 866-391-1020. Good morning.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Tune in this Sunday morning at 8 for the Coons Cooking Hour with Rob Pratt and the Coons Market team as they discuss their favorite picnic memories and recipes. It's the Coons Cooking Hour presented by Coons Market, your hometown Pittsburgh grocer.
When you call yourself the voice of Pittsburgh, you have to know when to not talk. Sometimes you just need to be the ears of Pittsburgh. Just listen. Listen to what you have to say. These are complicated and uncertain times, but when you need us, we are here for you, and we're listening. A trusted source that you can count on to be here. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
From the Aetna Studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
CBS News special report. President Trump stands behind the U.S. attack on Iran's nuclear facilities. Speaking from the White House,
the strikes were a spectacular military success.
Iran retaliated with a new wave of attacks. The BBC's Mark Lowen in Tel Aviv.
The huge Iranian barrage came in right across Israel.
And Olivia Rinaldi reports there are questions as to what Iran will do now.
Is it possibly still in a position to sprint towards a nuclear weapon at this point, as some intelligence analysts believed might happen if the U.S. entered this conflict and did not deliver significant damage to its nuclear site?
CBS's Linda Kenyon with congressional reaction.
House Speaker Mike Johnson posted, "The president did what he needed to do." The top Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee, Representative Jim Himes, called the president's action a clear violation of the Constitution, which grants the power to declare war explicitly to Congress.
CBS News special report. I'm Stacey Lynn.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
We're definitely going to be late to the concert. I feel like we should be there by now.
I'm just taking a little detour. I got to fill up my gas tank, and I know this place a couple towns over where the gas is cheaper.
Are you serious? We're going to be late for the concert because you're driving out of the way for cheaper gas? Just use Upside.
What's Upside?
Upside is the free cashback app that gets you real cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait, I can get cash back just for buying the gas I need anyway?
Yes, I use it all the time, and I've made around $200. Now pull over so you can download the Upside app before we miss the concert.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code Traffic25 to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank, PayPal, or as a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code Traffic25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code Traffic25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus. That's code Traffic25.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Replacement Contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
Today brings sunshine, heat, and humidity with a high of 95, followed by a mostly clear night tonight. It stays warm and humid, low 74, followed by a mostly sunny day tomorrow with more humidity in place and a high of 96, breaking the record of 95. Then sunny, hot, and humid again for Tuesday, high 95. For AccuWeather, I'm meteorologist LaTroy Thornton, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
All right, back to it Monday. This weekend, like Buster Poindexter, we're feeling hot, but we'll reconvene Monday. Colin Dunlap, 2 to 6, right here, KDKA.
All right, another quote from President Trump. This is a historic moment for the United States of America, Israel, and the world. Iran must now agree to end this war. Listen, you heard what Ted said moments ago. This has been going on for over 4 decades. I mean, remember Jimmy Carter's trying to get out of the office that he had just lost to Ronald Reagan, and he's doing everything, diplomacy, bring these hostages back to the Ayatollah Khomeini, and Ronald Reagan simply says, they better be back. Sometimes, you know what, the voice of reason is who's the toughest and who's flexing their muscles and has the most muscles in the room. Nobody wants to bomb anyone. Nobody wants to wake up and be involved in something like this. Look, the president would much rather be cutting deals to help the economy, but he also knows this is a part of the job description. It comes with the job. This is what you have to do. Somebody has to stand tall. And we have let them, listen, one of the reasons, and nobody wants to admit this, one of the reasons we're $37 trillion in debt, because we let these thieves come in the night and simply continue to take away the fabric, the landscape, every means of business possible to make our citizenship be able to live. They basically stole the middle class from us. And they took that work ethic to places in the world where they're not paying middle class wages. So they've got the best of both worlds. They're paying next to nothing for labor. They're getting the ingenuity and knowledge that they took from us 4 decades ago, and administration after administration simply let them do it without even saying stop. They just kept letting them do it, and that's why we are where we are today. And in a roundabout way, the buck stops here. It ended last night. It's over. No more will any of these countries, because they have deep pockets because of some rich commodity like oil, will they be able to do what Iran has been doing to us and the rest of the world. And if I'm Kim Jong-un, I've had somebody eating my cereal before I take the first spoonful today. He too is now on alert. No more of these just finger-pointing allegations, defamation, stepping on our character, basically raking us over the coals because you have the threat of a nuclear weapon. It's ridiculous. 866-391-1020. Trey Fulbright is here. First Alert Forecast, meteorologist, KDKA Television. So, summer has literally officially arrived, and the temperature is going to be scorching today. Is it not, Trey? Good morning.
Everyone was wanting summer temperatures, and we're going to get them for sure this upcoming week. We have a stretch of 90-degree days on the way, and heat indices in the afternoon will also be up near 100 to 105. So some pretty intense heat. It could be problematic, especially for those that are a little more sensitive to that and don't have access to air conditioning.
Yeah, there'll be some cooling stations out there. Rob Taylor will have the latest on it. Obviously, if you don't have to go out and you're compromised because of certain health issues, please make sure that you stay in the air-conditioned comfort. So what flipped the switch? What made us go from a rainy day, Tuesday, Monday, every day of the week, to finally we're getting some of this warmer weather? What flipped the switch, Trey?
Well, we're finally seeing a switch to more of a regular summer-like pattern where via jet stream, it was really parked over us for a good part of the spring, and we had storm system after storm system coming through. That jet stream has shifted to the north, and we get into our summer-like pattern where we have high pressure in the upper levels, and that gives us sinking air and warming conditions. So that's the big cause for this flip.
All right, so this warm weather, give me the 5-day. How long is it going to last? Break it down for me, please.
Yeah, we've got a stretch of 90s on the way, 92 this afternoon, 74 tomorrow morning, 93 Monday, 93 on Tuesday, 92 on Wednesday, 91 on Thursday. And again, our overnight lows during this stretch as well are going to be very warm as well. We could possibly break a record warm low temperature coming up on Tuesday morning just because of how warm it will be at night.
All right, Trey Fulbright, First Alert Forecast meteorologist, KDKA Television this Sunday morning. Always enjoy our time together. We'll do it again next week, okay?
All right, have a good one.
All right, there he goes, Trey Fulbright. Finally, listen, I know it's going to be hot, but I don't know about you. I just couldn't take any more rain. I mean, I've never experienced this much rain over the last month in western Pennsylvania. And this is funny how your mind, something triggers and you kind of go back in time. I remember one June, and I think I was like in 7th grade, because I was making that transition at the end of my first year in what was known as junior high school. And it was a big jump from a little elementary school in New Brighton to this like massive like junior high school, 7th, 8th, and 9th graders. And between 7th and 9th grade, they were like, massively older than you, right? So it was kind of like you kept your mouth shut, your head down, and you went from one class to the next. And I remember how excited I was to be out of school for the summer. And the month of June, it just rained and it rained. And I remember my father telling me to cut the grass, but wait till it would dry a little bit because I'd be raking more than cutting grass. And, you know, as a young kid, you want to get up early and get the most out of your summer. So I kind of set the alarm and got up at 7 o'clock and went out there with this little 2-cycle engine that we had. You'd use the rope to kind of start the lawnmower, the 2 cycles, half gasoline and half kerosene. And, man, I ended up cutting the grass about 1/4 of an acre of a lot that we had, but I ended up having to rake for like 3 hours. So sage advice from my father. But I remember it was like June of my 7th grade. I had just gotten out. It was like 1971, something like that, and it just rained for the entire month. And that's what it's felt like over the last month. We just have had, I'm telling you, up until really yesterday, we've had rain like every day. So I can be safe out there, but I can handle the warm weather for a little bit longer. All right, let me get back to what we've been talking about today, because it is the lead story. It's the big story. Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense, is supposed to talk at around 8 o'clock today, and if that's the case, we'll have some of that or all of it, depending on how long or what's going to happen with it. We're kind of waiting from CBS Radio News right now to find out what is going to happen. But, you know, the thing that I think I really am impressed with is how this guy doesn't really wait around, this president. We don't go back and forth. You don't have to have a 1,000 different opinions. He's a clear-cut decision maker. One of the things that you want in any leader, any boss, anybody who's running the show, if you will, you want somebody who can make clear-cut decisions and get down to it and get on to the next thing. And I can tell you right now, Israel has been intercepting a lot of these missiles that have been launched back at them since these nuclear locations were struck last night by the United States. But Israel is really intercepting every one of these missiles. So Iran has not only been deflated because what has happened, and they have been humiliated by, the United States. Believe me, this regime right now is probably just foaming at the mouth. They are probably so angry right now. And especially with the way they look on the world stage, the way their people are looking at them right now. And that's the other thing that nobody takes into consideration. The Iranian people do not like, I'm sure, a lot of the conditions that they're dealing with and how they're living. They see that now that there's a chink in this so-called armor of their regime, their leadership, they may revolt on this government. So this government is probably saying, we got to do something, strike back, at least look like we're in this fight. And if these missiles continue to get intercepted and they get basically beaten down time and time again, and they have no wherewithal, no ability to punch back, and they're basically sitting ducks, do you think for 1 minute the Iranian people are going to back them? No way. They're going to embrace the opportunity to have another leadership. And who knows? I'm not saying the Shah of Iran was perfect, but that's how long it's been since we really had an ally in that part of the world. It's been that long. And see, the other thing that nobody wants to talk about, because we have let these third world countries dictate and do what they've wanted, they've also polluted the minds of some American people to where you have some of these cells in our country, some who have the same thought process, some have completely turned their back on their own nation because of what the Iranian government has been doing for years. And not just them. Thought process, Kim Jong-un, North Korea, he's another one, Vladimir Putin in Russia. I'm telling you, we have been poisoned in this country because we have not stood up and done anything to really right the ship here. So it's going to be a story that is going to have big implications. It's not going to go away quickly. But I can tell you, I believe the next 24 hours are going to be crucial, because if Iran does nothing of significance and all you see is a smoking gun, this regime may be removed from the government of Iran. And I'm not saying right, wrong, indifferent, but I think within the next 24 to 48 hours, maybe 72 at the most, but I think this thing, if you do not see something in the way of a massive retaliation from Iran, and they continue to lob these missiles that get intercepted by Israel, and they are throwing up dud after dud after dud, I wouldn't be a bit surprised if that thing completely topples and the people of Iran have the say as far as where they go moving forward, or, as President Trump said, they get obliterated. And nobody wants to see that. But I think Iran has got themselves into a corner here. And I know not everybody agrees, and I respect that. We've had some callers already today who've disagreed with it, and I respect it. And we're going to take all your calls. We're going to continue to talk about it, my colleagues and I, throughout the first part of the week, as I said, because this is going to be on the front burner, and it's going to be a boiling pot of water. Right now, there's a lot of uneasy people throughout the world wondering what could happen here. Because, as I said, if something would happen, and they did have that capability, and were able to launch something of that magnitude, it could get so many more countries involved, and this thing could be off and running in such a big way that I think a lot of us don't even want to think that way. So let's just hope the message was heard loud and clear. Iran does what they need to do. They basically back down. We all get a chance to reset and move forward. But again, very interesting. Rob Taylor in the newsroom. He'll have the latest coming up with CBS Radio News at 6. We'll continue to follow it throughout the day. And more of your phone calls on the other side at 866-391-1020. It's your Pratt Pack. Good morning.
The KDKA Mobile News Fleet is driven by Jim Shorkey Kia, North Huntington and Wexford. JimShorkeyKia.com.
News Radio, KDKA, Sports.
Sports brought to you by Coons Market with 8 locations to serve you better. A Pittsburgh tradition. Bucks lost to Texas 3-2 last night. 2 teams again today. PNC Park 135 first pitch, 93-7 the Fan. LSU's Cade Anderson pitched like an ace in Game 1 of the College World Series Finals yesterday. Anderson tossed a complete game shutout in a 1-0 victory. The Tigers stepped into the driver's seat in search of the 2025 National Championship and are just 1 win away from their 8th title in their school's history. T.J. McConnell and company, NBA Game 7. It's all on the line tonight for the Larry O'Brien Trophy as Indiana takes on OKC. Travelers Championship, Tommy Fleetwood is 1 round away from winning his first tour event on the PGA Tour. He's at 16 under, good for a 3-shot lead at the Travelers Championship. And Riverhounds winners against Tampa Bay 2-0 last night. And today on the pole at Pocono, it is Denny Hamlin as NASCAR goes for the checkered flag. More sports, 937thefan.com.
As the old saying goes, size matters.
At Morgan & Morgan, we have over 1,000 lawyers and nearly 6,000 people on staff.
But at the core, this is and always has been a family business.
Our family watching out for your family.
Call us or email us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even on a Saturday or a Sunday.
And if you ever have a problem, call our mom.
Morgan & Morgan.
For the people and your family.
Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Tune in to 1020 KDKA Radio for Medical Frontiers with Dr. Gerald Pfeiffer from the Allegheny Health Network every Monday from 7 to 8 p.m. Dr. Pfeiffer and his special guests will cover the information that you want to know about your health and the latest trends in medicine.
Are you living with dry AMD? If so, you could be on the road to geographic atrophy, or GA, a condition that leads to retinal cell death and permanent vision loss. But with Izervay, you can
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay slows GA progression by targeting a key source of retinal cell death, which may help preserve your vision longer. Izervay, or Avastin Captid Pagel, is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Where Pittsburgh comes to talk. 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
All right, again, 866-391-1020. Rob Taylor with the latest on this story that we've been discussing all morning. And, of course, it will be discussed for many mornings moving forward, depending especially on where it goes in the next couple of days. 3 nuclear sites bombed by the United States as they joined Israel in the fight against Iran last night. So a lot of folks want to talk, as does Cynthia. And, Cynthia, I'm shocked. I thought you'd be the first call this morning, so take your time. You're on the air.
I am so relieved that they were smart enough to move their enriched uranium and the centrifuges out, because I was terrified of the fallout in that region. I question, though, if planes were actually used or was it the submarines that did it. But I'm relieved today that nothing worse happened. And Trump has lied to all of the public, as we now know. I'm waiting 2 weeks. That was a lie. I don't know who believes anything he says anymore. And if you think these Persians in the United States can go back to Iran, you got another thing coming. That country is more unified than ever against the great Satan, us, and the little Satan, Israel. That's never going to happen. And did you see Tel Aviv this morning? They've been getting bombed. It looks like Gaza. This was a drastic miscalculation, just like we've miscalculated every war that we started since 9/11. We better wise up. Thanks, Rob.
All right, Cynthia, have a good day. Look, I know that there are a lot of emotions going through a lot of folks right now, and I think you can understand where Cynthia, just by listening to her voice, her thought process. I mean, I get it, but sooner or later, you know, it's getting to the point where this stuff has got to stop. You realize how many countries and how many of these dictators and these third world countries, especially because of their deep pockets, because of having a resource like oil, have been pushing America around. And you see, when you look at everything happening right now, we have a chance to take back what is rightfully ours. Most powerful free nation in the world. Not looking to fight, not wanting to stir the pot, not really wanting to be involved in any altercation. We just basically want to stay within our borders and create a better place for America. And that's what we need to do. People of all walks of life, religious beliefs, race, we need to come together as a country and start rebuilding America. Not just in the inner city, but to the heartlands, the farming community. We have to start doing more industry. You know, I was so happy to see early this morning when I woke up that even the pawn stock is up following the deal that has been finalized. I mean, there's got to be something going on right now. It's almost as though it's happening in front of our very eyes. This story continues to unfold. And I think that we've been so blinded by the light for so long in this nation that we just don't believe in anything hopeful anymore. But think about it. The natural gas industry started to become a big playmaker and a big part of Western Pennsylvania over the last 10 years or so since that first well was drilled in Washington County. We now have a multi-billion-dollar investment from Royal Dutch Shell. We now have another multi-billion-dollar investment from the Nippon coming into the Mon Valley that's going to give us a chance, not just in the Mon Valley, but to Gary, Indiana, and other places throughout the country to make real steel again. And you need steel when it comes to your military might. But money's going to be put into communities that hasn't seen this type of money in over 50, 60 years. I mean, the Mon Valley's going to have billions pumped into it. Money that they haven't seen since the 60s. And it wasn't even anywhere near what it's going to be now, no matter what the dollar was worth back then. And you're going to have a chance to actually be more stable in this country. And the timeline with everything happening in the world right now, we've got the natural gas, the energy industry where it needs to be. You're going to have more people like Exxon, people like British Petroleum that are going to come here and feed off of what Shell did. It will happen. West Virginia, Ohio. It's just a certain thing. It's going to happen. And you don't think that the trades and others are not following the story about Nippon and U.S. Steel and the billions and what's going to be happening here? You're going to have other companies and people and countries wanting to do business here. And with this tariff situation, they're all going to want to beat that trump card, that ace in the deck. And how do you beat tariffs? You don't beat them, you join them. You start making things in this country. So we can start building our military. We can start restoring pride in America. And when you have an ally like Israel, that's as good as gold for future generations. And also starting a legacy, so when Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, his time has come to an end, when President Trump's time come to an end, Democrats and Republicans alike in this country, maybe they'll learn from what is going on here. Look, is this a perfect solution? No, because it's not really solved anything yet. We're waiting for the other shoe to drop. We're praying that it doesn't. But sooner or later, someone has got to step up and take a stand in the room. Somebody has got to speak up for America. Somebody's got to speak up for the human race when you have a ragtag regime threatening people that have nothing in the way of anything, the thought process of negotiating with anyone. They want it all. It's not winner take all. They want it all. And they expect, because of some allegation and pointing the finger and basically stepping on you verbally and emotionally, that they should be able to write whatever they want as far as the script that's going to benefit them. See, the problem is, like a kid in the candy store with way too much money in his pocket or her pocket, and their eyes are bigger than their stomach. Iran's just got too much money, too much power, and they've brainwashed generations after generations. I mean, do you realize how long it's been since the Ayatollah? This was back during the Carter administration when we had double-digit gas rationing. We had 18% interest, people trying to build homes, buy homes back then with an interest rate that they would be paying, their great-grandchildren would be paying long after they died, and a 30-year mortgage had come and gone. That's the kind of money that we were so desperate to find a way to make work back then. And now we've come all these years later and we've gone through all this stuff and we're $30-some trillion in debt. You don't think because we have let people like Iran push us around, it's not one of the reasons why we are where we are today? We should be helping people in our community, from that farmer to the people living in affordable housing in the inner city, people of color, opportunities for jobs. We should be teaching young children the ability to read, write, and actually have a good public education that puts them on a foundation to do something. The trades, being a carpenter, electrician, or plumber, working in a union for like the USW, driving a truck for the Teamsters. We need to get back to giving young people hope and an opportunity that if you're willing to work, we'll find an opportunity for you. All we have been doing from this entire equation for the last 40 to 50 years since the Mills left, since we dealt with this Ayatollah situation and when the Shah left, and this is just one of many stories, Saddam Hussein, Osama bin Laden, we have the Taliban, we have been dealing with this for over 50 years, and it's why we are where we are today in America. And I'm not saying this is going to change everything, but at least now we feel as though we did something for the greater good. And how long has it been since an American public can actually look at something that we did as a nation with an ally, meaning Israel, that may make a major difference, saving people of large numbers for generations to come? I don't know. Unless I see something different that changes my mind, I'm very happy we did what we did. Somebody had to take a stand, and it's time that somebody does take a stand, and I would rather it be the United States of America teaming up with Israel than someone else who doesn't have the same compassion. And believe it or not, Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister, and our President have compassion. Rob's coming up next with the latest on that and more. News at 6 moments away on KDKA.
The Big K Morning Show with Larry Richards.
Service in the Israeli army. He has returned to the region, very heavily involved in the Pittsburgh Jewish community. Danny, good morning.
The most fascinating thing about his daily life in Israel, to be honest with you, is that there's so many competing sectors of society, but they all manage, generally speaking, daily to just get along with their daily life, which you don't see in the media.
Well, thanks for letting people hear about it here.
Weekday mornings 5:30 to 10 on the Voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
I'm with Joe Potocznik, JP Roofing and Siding. Congratulations, Joe. Triple Crown winner from Owens Corning.
Yes, Larry. We are proud to announce that we are recognized for service excellence, product excellence, and MVP based on marketing leadership and customer service.
Call Joe and his team. You'll get the best of the best. Get a free estimate for roof and siding replacements. Call the roofing replacement experts at JP Roofing and Siding, 412-829-7711. Congrats, Joe.
Thank you, Larry.
Here's the latest from the KDKA Community Message Board.
It's the City of Pittsburgh's Independence Day celebration, and the fun starts at 4 p.m. on July 4th on Pittsburgh's North Shore. Enjoy family activities, nonstop music, and fantastic food. And tune to 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA for the Fireworks Bonanza Mix from TJ the DJ. Brought to you by Need Part C, Pittsburgh's choice for Medicare solutions. NeedPartC.com. Roan Monument, Teamsters Local 926, Lamont, and Pennsylvania Laborers District Council. Book your stay at the Landing Hotel at Rivers Casino. Enjoy free valet parking and breakfast while being right in the heart of all the action. Whether it's a weekend getaway or a staycation, they have you covered. Book today at thelandinghotelpgh.com.
Details at KDKARadio.com.
All the news you need for your day and the sports, music, and podcasts you love are all on the free Odyssey app. Download now.
KDKA and KDKA-FM HD2 Pittsburgh. W261AX Pittsburgh.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Aetna Studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
It is 72 degrees at Pittsburgh International at 6 o'clock. I'm Rob Taylor. The U.S. has launched strikes against Iran, targeting 3 nuclear facilities. President Trump said the objective of the strikes was to end Iran's nuclear threat. CBS News correspondent Christian Benavidez has the latest.
There has been some bipartisan backlash over whether President Trump unconstitutionally bypassed Congress to execute an act of war. In a social media post, Representative Thomas Massey of Kentucky, a Republican, wrote, "This is not constitutional."
And the strike coming 9 days after Israel first launched its offensive against the Islamic Nation. Well, we're in for a bit of 90-plus degree temperatures over the next week. Highs expected to reach at least 91 degrees today, at least 94 on Monday and Tuesday, with heat index values up to 104 degrees, prompting the National Weather Service to issue an extreme heat warning starting at 11 this morning until 8 p.m. Wednesday for Allegheny, Beaver, Butler, Fayette, Washington, and Westmoreland counties. Duquesne Light urging customers to prepare for the possibility of power outages due to the heat and everyone using electricity for air conditioners and other items. Duquesne Light also says if power is lost, customers should avoid opening their refrigerator and freezer and to use flashlights and find the nearest location with air conditioning. We'll have that complete AccuWeather forecast coming up. A reminder, though, from animal experts to never leave your pet inside of a hot vehicle.
I don't think people realize that heat stroke can develop in as little as 15 minutes in dogs.
That's Beaver County Humane Society Executive Director Allison Yazer. She says many pet owners mistakenly believe that it's safe to leave an animal in a hot car as long as they leave a window open.
Leaving the window open doesn't slow down the heating process, and it doesn't keep the temperature from rising, unfortunately.
Just this past week, a Doberman puppy was found by the Hopewell Township Police Department locked in a hot vehicle. Puppy did suffer from heat stroke, but fortunately was rescued in time, and the Humane Society's medical team is cautiously optimistic about the dog's recovery. PennDOT is getting the word out about a long closure on the southbound HOV lanes on the Parkway North. With more, News Radio KDK's Paul Rasmussen.
The HOV lanes on I-279 will close at 6 a.m. Tuesday and will remain closed through at least early July as crews are doing prep work for a long-term pier repair project on the southbound I-579 bridges. Crews will be installing updated roadway signs and work on line painting, paving, and drainage modifications for the closure. One other traffic note, single-lane restrictions will be in place on the Liberty Bridge Monday, starting at 9 a.m. for inspection work. The inbound and outbound restrictions are scheduled to wrap up by 2 to 3 p.m.